Hey guys, trying to calm down here. Lots of news, lots of stuff that just dropped. Crazy time. I appreciate y'all coming in. I am going to cover, obviously, the newest breaking news is that Amber Heard did file her notice for appeal. That was number one. Number two, we did raise the funds like in 30 minutes to get the 6,000 plus pages of documents that have been unsealed. So we're in the process of doing that. That could take, based on the way they have to send in a certified check and stuff for Andrea and us, it'll probably take a week. She's hoping to get the certified check Friday, mail that out right away or Monday, and then however long turnaround it takes in Fairfax. So I thought today I would do an overview of what documents have been unsealed and what they might mean for us. So in the meantime, if you don't mind, let me do my intro for the replay group, and I'll be right back. Hi, I'm Laura, also known as TheReallauraB from Twitter. I'm a researcher, truth seeker, and a new wave internet journalist. I'm not a lawyer, nor offering any legal advice. Join me on a journey to draw the curtain back to expose key news developments in the world of celebrity lawsuits and current events. Let's get started. Hey, I'm back. Laura from TheReallauraB. Should have said that in the intro, but so I think I've got three mods here that I can see today: Secret McSquirrel, Kit Kat, and Lori. I really appreciate you all helping me out. Let me see. I saw Lori. Where is she? Lori Wolf. Yeah. So please know that these are my mods. They're volunteers. Please be kind to them. They're there to help us be kind to each other. So I really appreciate them. Getting there, getting a lot of people. We have over 300 joining us. Give them a few minutes to come. All hail the mods. Thank you. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Really appreciate it. Oh, yeah. I love when I sit down planning a live stream and then all this news drops, and I'm trying to pull in comments and documents and a lot going on Twitter that can help us that I want to share with you guys. And I think I did. Hey, from North Carolina, not too far from me. W Daisy Girl. Nice, nice. Hey, Terry. Who else did I just see? Minneapolis, Minnesota. Tracy. Awesome. Awesome. I'll try and click on these when I'm doing it. Yeah, it happened so fast. Andrea said, we were trying to figure out how to pay for it. We're going to do a GoFundMe. Andrea and I and Tug and Andy Signor, Popcorn Planet, were going in on it. We were just going to see how we could do it because it was going to be pretty expensive when we got the price. And then Andrea just said, you know what, I'm just going to do a PayPal and let everybody donate. And within 30 minutes, she had the money we needed for the documents, which was a little over $3,000. And I think she had thousands more that she ended up donating to Children's Hospital, and then thousands more that she donated to Artesium. So if you see it, you don't have to give any more. She met her goal and more, and was kind enough to do all that donating, which is awesome. Awesome. Yeah, everybody's coming in. We're getting a nice group. I am on Twitter, TheReallauraB. Can't miss me. I've been there for a very long time. Oh, I am sorry, Ellen. I hope you feel better. Sending you good thoughts and prayers. I've been there. Did I mention that today? That Amber and Johnny's divorce agreement is on the Fairfax site. Can you remind us of the date it's posted? April 11th, 2019. I think it's in the memorandum for change of venue or dismissed because of venue. It's if you've got to scroll down pretty far, you're going to get to Amber Heard's declaration. And that's the first time we see all these extra incidents she claims. And then at the very last spot, you could go to the bottom and work your way up, is the several pages of their divorce agreement. That includes a lot of paragraphs. It outlines the property that Johnny owns. She's taking no property. All she's getting is cash. Her debt's paid off. And I think Johnny might have had the tax liability for that year. April 11th. I'll make a note for myself to put the link in here in my description. And maybe I can find the page number for you. Okay. So, Idaho. Yay! So, I cannot believe that we just had this happen. UK. Mason. Okay, so I think we should just kick off because I know people want to pop around to other streams, and I had some comments not to take too long, but I'm going to take as long as I feel like I need to give you guys the best information that I have, honestly. So let's start off with, this is the appeals site. Unfortunately, it's far different than Fairfax. What they're going to say, it's a civil case in Fairfax County. This is their record. I do not know why this CAV record up top on the left, far top left, is different than the CAV record to the right, 106222, 106222-4. So they've added a -4 to it. These are all the attorneys as of right now of her filing. Again, this is the notice of appeal. They're just noticing it. We got Elaine, we got Adam, we got Rottenborn is still there, Nadelhaft. So these are the guys that were all there. And then I don't remember. So those are the ones. Those Josh Treese was there. He's with Rottenborn. So I guess these are, we could look them up later, but it's just all happened. They're from probably one or either Elaine's or Braderhoff's or Rottenborn's firms. So that's the appellate. So anytime you're hearing that word appellant, it's Amber Heard. The appellee is going to be Johnny. We've got Ben and Camille. They basically taken the last service list, it looks like, on the last motions and lawyers in trial, and just assuming they're all going to be there. Or I mean, not be there. There's part of this filing. So the original appeal notice was received today. That's all we've got. They're going to, the record they're going to have to send up is all the transcripts. Everything that has to do with what they're appealing, all the transcripts and all the files, everything else has to be sent up. And then once we get an opening brief, it'll be dated here. So right now, this is just all blank. But what you can see is there's not going to be anything. I can't click on anything. It's just going to be a list of stuff. That's all we're going to get. We're not going to get any documents. We would have to try and apply for them at the court itself. Yeah. Let's see what else. So Anjanette Levy broke the news that she did file. I hope you can see this. Oh gosh, it's so tiny. I'm going to envision a new tab. I'm getting good at this, guys. There it is. We can zoom in. A little too much. Please take notice that defendant and counterclaim plaintiff Amber Laura Heard, pursuant to the Rule 5.9 of the Rules of the Supreme Court of Virginia, hereby gives notice of her appeal to the Virginia Court of Appeals from this court, June 24th. So this is everything she's appealing. June 24th is when the verdict was entered, final judgment order. The July 13th order on defendant counterclaim Amber Heard's post-trial motions. So all her, the juror business and her asking to set the verdict aside is also going to be part of her appeal. And from all additional orders and rulings by the trial court prior to the entry of the final judgment order and post-trial motions. Now, we don't have specifics, but she's basically saying, I am giving notice and I'm appealing every judgment this judge has made, every order, every ruling, everything. But that doesn't necessarily mean she will until she files the brief and specifies it. But she's leaving it open that this is what they're going to prepare for, including the post-trial. Pursuant to Rules 5.9 and 5.1, the Rules of Supreme Court of Virginia, defendant and counterclaim plaintiff Amber Laura Heard certifies that the transcripts of these proceedings have been or will be filed with the clerk of this court within the time required by the rules of the Supreme Court. And we saw her already start to file notions or notices of notions. Let's see. Here we go. Defendant's notice of filing, for example. So she started doing this already. There's one that's an amended transcript. Post-trial motions. Here, corrected transcript and the exhibits. These are all being filed because they're going to be used in some way at the appeal. At the appeal. Yep. And let me go back to, I just lost Anjanette. I wanted to keep her and I closed the wrong tab. Let's see if I can just pull her up. Hold on, because she has statements from both sides already. So that's what I wanted to look at real quick. So this is from Johnny's side. The jury listened to the extensive evidence presented during the 6-week trial and came to a clear and unanimous verdict that the defendant herself defamed Mr. Depp in multiple instances. We remain confident in our case and that this verdict will stand. So that is Johnny's side. And then Amber's side, we believe the court made errors that prevented a just and fair verdict consistent with the First Amendment. We are therefore appealing the verdict. While we realize today's filing will ignite the Twitter bonfires, there are steps we need to take to ensure both fairness and justice. I think we're over. I mean, maybe they should stay off Twitter, but that's where we're at. So I found that interesting as far as consistent with the First Amendment. If you watched the trial, you saw that's what Rottenborn was pushing the most, that Johnny's name was not named. He should not be inferred. That was another argument they made post motion, that this was a social issue at the time, the Me Too time, and that what she was writing about was what happened to her afterwards. And that's her First Amendment to claim that. But what happened to hers 2 years ago is what the jury felt specifically pointed to her claims against Johnny, which they found to be false. They found to be false. Yeah. So we know that they submitted her, we know they submitted her tweet as evidence. And it was interesting because I found it, another one of her tweets that I posted not too long ago. Let's see if I can find it very quickly. Shoot. No, but I will get it for the news roundup. But she had, she took a screenshot of that tweet, the original tweet that day. She took a screenshot and she put it on her Instagram, and it's a completely different picture. Everything's the same except for a picture of her. It's a picture of a woman holding up a placard that says "Me Too." I strongly recommend that you follow Law and Lumber if you're interested in how this appeal is going to go. He is a Fairfax lawyer. He works there, so he has tried to help us out, showing us the way, if you will. Let's see if I can do this in a way that we will be able to see it better. Open. See if I can focus into this. Oh, yeah. Okay, so assembling the trial, that's the first step. So they've got to put the court record together and identify the issues. So the record filed with the Court of Appeals, likely mid-September 2022. And that's what the court clerk, the appeals court clerk told me. Whew. She told me 3 months from the time the verdict is recorded. That would have been June 24th. So that puts us in June, July, August, September 24th, 2022. So that seems to be the first step, the record filed with the Court of Appeals. Designation of appendix, identifying parts of record relevant for the claim of the Courts of Appeals to consider. We'll go back. He wrote this out, but this is just a really good guideline. If agreed, joint designation filed within 15 days of record being filed. If parties don't agree, do you really think they're going to agree? Appellant, Amber Heard, files designation of appendix and assignments of error with 15 days of record being filed. Appellee, Johnny Depp, then files its designation. So this is going to, you can see by 10 days. So this is going to carry out for a long time. Once all that is done, part 2 is the actual briefs. Opening briefs within 40 days of designation of appendix. That's up here. Designation of appendix, which doesn't even start for 3 months. And then we have another 40 days after that's complete. If Johnny files additional assignments of error, most likely he will also write an opening brief, responsive briefs within 30 days of opening brief. So they're going to file an opening brief. Johnny's going to file an opposition opening brief, and then we'll have responsive briefs. They're going to respond to each other's and reply briefs. So this is a very, very long process. Very long process. So let's see what he did. So I think this is really helpful for you guys. For those asking about timing, parties have 60 days from the date of judgment 6/24 to supplement the record with transcripts and non-filing. Party has 15 days from filing of any transcripts to object. So that's what she's doing now. So between now, 60 days. So let's just go for easy calculation of 2 months. So June 24th, it was recorded, June, July, August. Now she is including the July 13th motions, but I think it's from the verdict. So June, July, August 24th, all of her transcripts have to be filed. And that's what she started doing. Then she has to, then Johnny has 15 days to file anything that has an error in it because he's not the filing party. Right. So that goes there. And then, see, I knew I was going to get caught up in some of these. I got a lot of comments I'll be back to. The clerk's office then prepares the record of all proceedings, all transcripts, all rulings, all motions, all everything. It piles and sends it to the Court of Appeal. The parties get notice when the record is filed with Court of Appeals, and the clock begins to run for the filing of briefs. Appellant Amber Heard brief is due 40 days after the record is filed. Appellee Johnny brief is due 30 days after the appellant's brief is filed. Appellant Amber reply brief is due 14 days after that. So we've got a big calendar running here all the time. Backing up a bit to discuss the appendix, parts of the record they believe relevant to the Court of Appeal to review. 2 options. 1, the parties agree on the scope of the appendix and file a joint appendix designation, or the parties don't agree. And that was that second step in the chart. If they don't agree, then Amber will file her designation with 15 days, and then Johnny has 10 days to file his. Also, major caveat, all of these dates and deadlines are the default deadlines and can be changed by the Court of Appeals on motion by either or both parties. Yes, we sometimes file joint motions to extend deadlines. So that's that. Let me close some of these out. And I think this is a good time to try and take some questions. Okay. I am sharing. It's not sharing. Okay. So let's take a few of these. I know I have a super chat. I've got to find it again. Somebody's birthday. Happy birthday. Judge Penny will be on holiday when her appeal date is known. Good for Judge Penny. Happy birthday, DX. I haven't found you yet. Rachel. Can Johnny appeal as well? I'm amazing. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Johnny can appeal. And he doesn't have to do it at this, just because she's appealing, he doesn't have to appeal. So he has a choice. He can appeal or not appeal. If he does not appeal, she can say, hey, Johnny, they judged $2 million to me and you need to pay me now. And then he can say, well, I'm not paying you now. We're going to have to figure something out with this 10 million you owe me, 10 plus million. Now, how does this all work? And we're going to talk about that in the next part about the suspension bond. I'll get to that. Who's paying for the lawyer's fees? Well, interesting. I am still covering the insurance lawsuit. So we have travelers suing New York Marine saying, hey, both of our policies say that we have to supply a defense. We have to pay for a defense for Amber Heard. And you picked Cameron McAvoy. We picked Art Kaplan at the time. Then we switched to Braderhoff. And you have to help pay for this. And then New York Marine, after the verdict came in, sued Amber Heard and said, hey, we're not paying out the $1 million policy because you were found to have done this intentionally. And by the way, we're not going to cover your appeal. And now travelers are saying, whoa, wait up. You have to, our policy says we cover the defense, and that should include the appeal. So she's filed a piece of paper so far. I'm not sure how many hours are going to be involved in this. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to end up paying for it. And that's going to be coming from this insurance lawsuit. From what I understand from Andrea, it is the transcript you have to go into the court and see and pay 50 cents to obtain the documents, not the stuff the judge is unsealing. Yes. Actually, no. The transcripts they're saying are copyrighted by Judy. Remember Judy, the transcriber? They're saying if you want something, you've got to appeal to her to buy it. And they're expensive. I don't think we're going to be getting any transcripts, sadly. Although Andrea said when she has time, she says there's been rulings that say no, the transcriber should not own the copyright and they should have an option to get these transcripts from the court. So she's the lawyer. She's going to look into it. Let's see. How is that different from Judge A denying the appeal on all causes? Oh, wait, no. Okay, so Judge Penny Azcarate did not deny the appeal. She denied it at the Fairfax County Circuit Court level. She denied setting aside the verdict. Now they're going to appeal. Well, you saw that date. They're going to appeal everything or have the right to appeal. Does she think there'll be a different outcome? I think only one lawyer out of the law tutors, maybe two, said that maybe the only thing she has to stand on is this inference, the defamation by inference or innuendo, that since Johnny's a public figure and this is a public, important public policy of public information as far as the Me Too movement, that you should not be able to defame a public person. And some states apparently have upheld that, and some states have not upheld that. And in Virginia has never even addressed it. They just said anybody who's defamed by innuendo that we can show malice for can claim defamation. And it has nothing to do whether it's for a public, something of important public information like the Me Too thing. Did she put the whole 10 million up? I don't know. We're going to cover that in a minute. Let's see. I haven't found it, but happy birthday, DX Ghostly. Good for you. I wonder how Amber got the money because she doesn't have it. We're going to see. I mean, we may not see. Most we're going to learn is out of the lawsuits. And I'm going to scroll back down. I know I have a super chat. Czar, thank you very much. I so appreciate it. I am at Formula One on Twitter. Thank you for keeping us informed. Much appreciated. You are so welcome. And they're saying it's your birthday. So happy birthday. I think I got that right. Hope I got that right. All right, so let's get into the next part of this. Let's see if we can explain it. Share. Okay, so this is from Elaine Bradehoff filed a motion, and this was included in her motion, and it was this transcript of the 24th where they were signing the verdict. And Elaine was trying to stop her. She didn't want her to enter the judgment this day. And I think we can just start here. In this judgment order, which went back and forth a few times, and a lot of reflects my edits from earlier judgment orders, I had included in here that we incorporate the jury verdict form, and Mr. Jew agreed with that, and it's in the judgment order. It's still not on the record, the verdict. The court says no because it's signed by the foreperson whose name is under seal. Can we block the signature out and then still file that? Because in this judgment order, we're incorporating that, and that's what. And Judge Azcarate said, okay, fine. So, well, we typically do that with judgment orders. Judge Azcarate says, any objection to that? He says, no, Your Honor. So what they wanted, what she wanted attached to the order, the judgment order, she wanted the jury forms, and because they were the final foreman orders, but just to redact that signature. So they wanted that part of the judgment. And I think she really wanted it more because she didn't want anybody to forget about Amber Heard. So they go on to talk, and he's like, she's wonderful. She's all right, we'll do that. And Bradehoff says, thank you. Attach it. Okay. Bradehoff. And we will answer. We'll look at that, and we'll answer that no later than next Friday when we file the post-trial motions, Your Honor. And of course says, okay. Bradehoff on the seal. Judge Azcarate says, that's fine. And when you appeal, there will be a suspension bond too. You understand that. And Bradehoff, because we plan on addressing that with the post-trial motions, Your Honor. What attorneys can do for their client is they can apply to the judge. They can file a motion and saying, we want to appeal this, but our client is indigent, maybe, or home, or a single mother with no income. They can't file this suspension bond, and judges have the right to reduce that or waive it. They have that right. And Judge Azcarate is right on top of this. She goes, I understand what you prefer, but I'm going to tell you the suspension bond would be the amount of the judgment plus 6% interest for a year, because that's what it should be. So Elaine was trying to postpone this. First of all, the judgment wouldn't have been signed, but that the judge said, no, I'm signing the verdict. That's it. We're done today. And then Elaine goes, well, I'm going to file these motions, and we can talk about the suspension bond then. And Judge A is like, nope, there's going to be a suspension bond in its full amount. And if you wish, but that's my order right now. I understand completely. Judge A says, yes, thank you, Your Honor. All right. Anything further? Mr. Chu says, no, Your Honor. Thank you very much. Anything further, Elaine? Nope. All right. So that's done. So that's what happened with that. So Judge Azcarate said you will have an extension bond, a suspension bond in the full amount plus interest. What that means is, and this is what a suspension bond is, she can file her appeal without a bond and Johnny can start collecting, or she can file her appeal with the full bond and Johnny just has to twiddle his thumbs for his money until after the appeal is heard. So let's go through this real quick. As part of a larger set of articles, we'll just move on to this. Suspending execution of the judgment pending appeal. Execution is not killing somebody. Execution is enforcing it, and that somebody's going to execute this. They're going to make it happen. They're going to file. Johnny's going to file to get his money. He's going to execute the judgment. A suspension bond, also known as supersedis bond or an irrevocable letter of credit, is quite important, as without such, a party with a judgment, Amber Heard, can execute notwithstanding that the case is pending on appeal. To avoid this, the appealing party must post a suspension bond from the bonding company or an irrevocable letter of credit from a bank. A party can deposit cash into the court with a suspension bond in lieu of surety, which is like an insurance. They're going to take your house as a down payment, for example, to support it, collateral. It's important to coordinate with the clerk's office of the court from which you are appealing to ensure this process runs smoothly. The trial court sets the amount, and that's what we were just talking about. Judge Azcarate says this is the amount of the suspension bond plus interest. I'm not waiving that. It needs to be covered by the suspension bond or the irrevocable letter of credit. So this, the judgment and payment of all damages incurred in consequence of such suspension. The amount is based on the amount of the judgment plus an interest calculation. That's what Judge said, for 1 year from the date of the notice of appeal to a maximum of $25 million. Notably, in recognition of the fact that suspension of enforcement pending appeal can be especially harmful to parties in certain contexts, a court may refuse to suspend the execution of a judgment regarding support or custody in domestic relation cases, or when a ruling refuses, grants, modifies, or dissolves an injunction. So that gives you an idea what's going on here. So the suspension bond, if she chooses to go with it in the full amount, is to keep Johnny from going after the verdict, going after the full judgment. All right. Let me take some more questions. So I hope you understand that. I've got a few things here. Catherine Hood, thank you so very much for the super sticker. It is so appreciated. It really is. Sandra, hey, Laura, will the appeal be in Fairfax or can it be switched to another jurisdiction? It goes to the state appeals court, which I think is in Richmond. I think it's in Richmond. Thank you, KYP 123. Really appreciate it so very much. And Rebecca, DUI guy just tweeted that defendant has to pay 10.97 million bond by Monday, July 25th. I'm sorry, that's not what we're understanding from other lawyers. So that's what I'm going to go with. That's what I'm going to go with. I think it's pretty clear in most of the articles. She can pay the costs, but as soon as she does, Johnny can have his lawyers start executing this judgment saying, okay, how are you going to pay me? So we're going to ask, please answer my queries about the counterclaim and who has to pay for her counterclaim. That has not come up in the lawsuit yet, because when you have insurance, the insurance pays for your defense. Johnny filed a lawsuit, so that's not a defense. He's the claimant. She's a defendant. When she filed her counterclaim, she became a claimant. So it's going to depend on the insurance company if they're going to try and fight to somehow break out the expenses from her counterclaim, because they shouldn't have to cover those. I hope that answered the question. So I'm not sure that's going to happen, how that's going to work. And remind me to go back to the insurance, because I got a great comment on my last video that I'd like to read to y'all. I am sorry YouTube is doing this. I'm hearing this a lot, that they're unsubscribing people. I don't know why that's happening since I've been chosen, qualified as a partner. They shouldn't be messing with any of our accounts. Yeah, they're saying it happens a lot. Do we think it will get thrown out, or will we drag out that long? I think we're talking about the appeal. Like, looks like, you know, she's going to go forward with it. Looks like it. Yes, please help new channel, like, subscribe, share, click the little bell for notifications. I appreciate it. I am trying to answer comments. I'm getting more and more, but I'm trying to make time twice a day to sit down and answer them. So give me a chance. Shouldn't have to pay that much bond, only if she wants to delay payments from Johnny. That is what I'm hearing from everybody except DUI guy. She can appeal without posting the money, but JD can start collecting. So it sounds like most of us are on the same side. I think Law and Lumber said the same thing. Isn't that a total of 39 years? I don't know. I think appeals typically take 1 to 2 years. I think they take typically. Adam's lawyer's been in Australia. Well, he certainly led us to believe that, didn't he? But he can be a trickster too. It could be that he meant he was working on it, but he did show that flag and everybody assumed that's where he was. Yeah, and there's a recording already of Chris Melcher saying that he got some information that they're very close on their to-do list to maybe indicting her very soon. I hope they do. Her and her First Amendment stuff is driving me nuts. She obviously doesn't understand the First Amendment and what it covers. Yeah, and it doesn't cover lies. If you lie, it's defamation. Amber giving Johnny the 10 mil. She can't win because she is a proven perjurer. Yeah, and supposedly she doesn't have the money either. Supposedly she doesn't have the money. Yeah, I think, according to Chris, they're very close to indicting her, filing some kind of charge. I don't know the Mason case. I'm going to have to look it up. All right. And I was supposed to put a banner up, and look, I didn't do that. I was supposed to put this up while I was talking. I'm getting so excited and forgetting this kind of stuff. Let me do some more comments. Yeah, I want to move on, but age won't let me. Johnny has what? To the end of tomorrow or Monday. I'm very confused about these number of days from the verdict because apparently it falls on a Sunday, the 30 days. So I don't know if Johnny's going to appeal it. Almost all the law tubers say he has the best chance to get this verdict overturned. And if he does file an appeal and puts up the bond for $2 million, he doesn't have to pay her. But if he doesn't, she can turn around and say, I want my $2 million. I want my $2 million. Yeah. Well, as of right now, we don't know whether she's put a bond up or not. We're trying to find out, but we do know she can do without a bond as long as Johnny, if he demands payment, then he can attach her house and anything, all that kind of stuff. But let's be honest. Johnny made it very clear in the court that he was here to clear his name. In the closing arguments, Ben said that. It's not about the money. It's about him clearing his name. So I think Amber's banking on him not coming after her for the judgment. But we will see. But I think that would only go if she doesn't come after the $2 million. All right, I'm going into, I think I got all my super chats. Please tell me if I didn't. I'll go look at it again, but I don't see any more. Thank you. My PayPal is, I put it in the description of each video. I also have it under my tab about me. You have to copy and paste it. Please don't have anybody just give you, hey, this is Laura's PayPal. This is what happened on Twitter, guys. This is important. People were pushing and pushing to help pay me for documents, and I really held back on it because I felt bad. And I finally said, okay, I'll do this. And I put up what Twitter has as a tip jar, which is the Cash App and I think Venmo. People said, but I'd like your PayPal. I said, okay, DM me. But what happened was these scammers that must have the word PayPal on a hot list of theirs, those comments popped up. They immediately took my photo and they took one of my Laura Backoven, except they changed for the L to a capital I. it was so easy for them. They took my banner. They basically replicated my account fast enough to say, yeah, here I am. Send me this is my PayPal. And they started handing out their PayPal address that they had just set up. They did it so fast that it even looked like it could have been me. And what they also did was immediately block me. So I never saw it happening. So people sent these guys PayPals. So anytime, whether it's me or anybody else that you want to do someone's PayPal, make sure you go to where it's theirs. Like, don't ask people, go to their accounts, go to their profiles, DM them direct, but make sure you go to the source for the PayPal. Don't ever say, hey, this is so-and-so's PayPal, send the money here. This is my PayPal. Make sure you know it's that account. And boy, did they scam people. And I was able to stop it fast. Yeah, it's very scary. Someone did that to Yellow Flash too. You know, somebody actually got them to pay out of coin at MetaMask. Got them to pay NFT. It's insane. So yeah, thank you. And my DMs are open. I only had to close them for a little while. Things got a little cray on me. But I try to keep my DMs open. I try to answer the comments here. But again, it's listed in my About Me on YouTube. So, okay. So I have one more. Thank you, Navy Vet. Navy Vet, love for the broken. Right? Thank you so much. Let me get your comment. This aggravates me when people use the First Amendment right to tell lies and slander. That isn't what the First Amendment is for. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And what Rottenberg was trying to say, believe it or not, who cares if she lied? It's not about whether she lied. It's about if people believed she was a victim, how she was treated afterwards. That's what he was trying to sell the jury. It doesn't matter if she lied. The matters was people presumed she was a victim, and this is how she was treated afterwards. That was the argument. Craziness. He did file in the original case to overturn the Adam Waldman statement for an appeal. He countersued. What he did is he tried to file a summary judgment to dismiss her counterclaim, and that was denied. So it ended up going to trial. He has not filed, to my knowledge, a notice of appeal yet. No, he has not. So I think we've covered that. We'll move on to the unsealed documents now, guys. Are we good? All right. So in this point, we're going to move to the unsealed documents that have now going to be released. All right. Got them. So this is Fairfax County. This is where if you go to high profile, here it is up here. I don't know if you can see it. Fairfax County Circuit Court. It's a high profile cases. When you come here, this is what you see. It can be confusing. Go here and select your high profile case. And then you will see everything that's been filed to date that was not sealed in any way. Judge Azcarate's office has told me they will not be uploading any more documents. This is going to be it. Okay. This is it. So what she did do was make an order and saying, okay, based on the conversation on the day of the verdict, Attorney Braderhoff asked, I want these documents to remain sealed. And Judge Azcarate says, no, once the court has started, I'm going to unseal everything. The court is over. The only reason these things were sealed was to protect the jury. I'm unsealing everything. And Ben agreed. But Elaine was able to argue, and it made sense, that certain private confidential information like addresses and things like that should remain confidential. All right. Oh, someone just reminded me, this is a good point. I'm breaking stride here, but back to the appeals on the verdict, which I think is here. Why don't we look at that? Verdict form would have been 624. This is the verdict. The judgment went in. And if you scroll down here, on behalf of Johnny Depp bench, you did file a list of objections, preserving them in case they did file for appeal. So he did file that with the order. Braderhoff did not. I think she was hoping to meet with them. All right, don't jump me around because then people get mad at me. So anyway, here's our order. These are the things that they're going to unseal. So let's go through them. Counterclaim plaintiff and defendant's disclosure of expert witnesses. So I'm pretty sure this was sealed because it had Judge Curry in there, right? It had her doctors in there. They didn't want these doctors being contacted by the public. They didn't want the jury to know there were psychiatrists involved and medical doctors and things like that. So that's probably why that was sealed, but now they're going to open it. Plaintiff's motion to compel an independent medical examination of defendant. I'm dying to see this one. So Johnny Depp had filed a motion to make Amber Heard sit for an independent medical exam. We know it was approved, and we know we got Dr. Curry. But why? Why did Johnny have the right to do this, and why did the judge agree? And that's going to be in that motion. At some point, Amber Heard put her mental health on the table as some kind of defense. Reply memorandum in support of defendant's supplemental plea in bar, page 1. This is only going to be one page, July 7th, 2021. Yeah, I think she claimed PTSD, among other things that she might have done. July 7th, 2021. Remember memorandum, and here it is. Page 1. This is page 1 right here. This has been redacted. So I imagine that's all we're going to get, because here's page 2. So that's kind of a buster. It's there. We don't need it. So let's go back to the next one. Defendant's motion to compel an independent medical exam of plaintiff. I hate that this is going to come out, because here's what they do. People can use these motions to smear the other party, and it's protected speech, and it can't be considered defamatory. So I hate that this is going to be unsealed, and we're going to see the garbage that Amber Heard's going to claim to force Johnny to take a medical exam, which, by the way, the judge disagreed with. Because it was denied, I wish this could have remained sealed. Second notification of judicial notice of adjudicated facts and law impacting this matter, page 2, attachments 1 and 2, July 7, 2021. Here we have the second notification, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. Basically, this is the stuff from the confidential to the parties, the High Court Justice Confidential Annex. Attachment 1 is confidential and filed under seal. So what this is the confidential annex from the UK trial that is now going to be unsealed. That's pretty much what that is. Defendant's notice of intent to use protected information. Same thing. Oh, wait, this is back to the, let's go back to this one. Defendant's opposition to the motion to compel her IME. So this is her arguing back. I don't care that they're claiming this about me. This is what I claimed, and I shouldn't have to sit for Dr. Curry. So that's what's coming up. Defendant's memorandum in support of motion to compel Rule 410, which again is the IME. And she was denied. Defendant's exhibits in the supplemental plea in bar, July 22nd, 2021. Any of these, all her supplemental, all her plea in bar was about the UK case. And it was under seal because she was claiming the confidential annex. Plaintiff's opposition to defendant's motion to Rule 410 examination of plaintiff. So this is Johnny saying, this is why I should not have to submit to a medical exam. Medical exam, which was mental. Second notification of judicial notice of adjudicated facts and law impacting this matter, page 2. Again, this is from the UK trial. She's trying again. She wants all this into the jury, and she's filing this as part of getting, at the time, she wanted this dismissed. She wanted the judge to accept the UK judgment and dismiss this case. So that's why these were filed at the time, and they were filed under seal. And Judge Penny said, no, I'm not dismissing it. Reply memorandum in support of defendant's supplemental plea in bar, page 1. So again, because they're probably going to refer to the confidential annex. Plaintiff's motion to compel defendant to respond to plaintiff's 4th interrogatories and 10th and 11th requests for production. We don't have them. Let's see, December 22nd, 2021. Let's see what we might have that could help us out with this. December December 22. Defendant's motion to compel. Defendant's memorandum in support to compel. Defendant. Is this what's this defendant? I thought it was plaintiff. Yeah, plaintiff's memorandum. So none of the plaintiff's side was uploaded. We see a lot of defendants on this date. Plaintiff's motions to compel, all these interrogatories and requests for production. Plaintiff's memorandum in support of omnibus motion. I can just imagine how much expensive an omnibus is. It's going to be a lot of stuff. So the plaintiff stuff for December 22nd is not there. We only have a date of hearing. Does it come up? Yeah, we just have the date of hearing, but we don't have what the information is. So we go to defendant's opposition to plaintiff's motion to compel responses to fourth interrogatories of 10th. So she's opposed this, but I think we saw some of this. Defendant's memorandum, no opposition. There's a lot filed, but no oppositions. Defendant's emergency motion for protective order to protect all individuals attending deposition of defendant, including all exhibits. That was never uploaded. And basically what she wants to do is she doesn't want the public to know who is, I know what she's saying. She's saying that this is an order that says whoever attends these depositions, any lawyers, any friends that someone brings with them, which is highly unusual, the court reporter, all of them, they're going to have a protective order so that nobody knows who's present. Nobody knows whose deposition is being given what day. Nobody knows the whereabouts. So this was filed. It was under seal again, so we wouldn't know where these things were, because I do remember at some point Elaine was trying to file sanctions because somebody had leaked Amber Heard's date and location of her deposition. She went on and on to say about the COVID restrictions and protections, when their lunch paid. So I'm pretty sure it's all stemming from this order that we never saw, that somebody had leaked the date and the whereabouts. Defendant's memorandum supporting motion to compel plaintiff's production of his original devices and operating system devices, cloud backups, as requested in defendant's 14th, 15th, 16th request for production, including these exhibits. I can only assume that the exhibits are what's being sealed December 22nd, because we do have a lot of this here. And the exhibits. So the only thing I can think of is possibly there's things here that are redacted. It's a big, here's the transcript. This is the transcript for the devices. And the motions to compel. So there's a lot of attachments, and I can only assume, look, we've got redactions. We've got more redactions. Did I just see that? No, there it is. So this is what's going to be unsealed, all these redactions, and of course the attachments. Let me finish this page and I'll stop and get some questions. Defendant's memorandum in support of motion to compel, January 28th. January 28th. Defendant's memorandum supporting motion to compel. So there's 8 pages here of what but there's things that are redacted. So this is what's going to come out unsealed. The same document without the redactions, it looks like. Back to this one. Defendant's memorandum, we just looked at that, January 28th. Defendant's motion to compel plaintiff's production of his original devices, operating system, and more exhibits. That seems to be jumping backwards to the 22nd again. So there must be more. There must have been a motion and then memorandums and exhibits. Plaintiff's opposition to defendant's motion to compel production of plaintiff's original devices. Clouds, the answers of 14, 15. So they've conflated a few things here, not just his devices. January 20th, let's see if we got something here. January 20th. No, the date's missed. So all of that has been sealed. So let me just take a natural break right here and take a look at some questions. Okay. So where did I leave off? First Amendment doesn't allow for false allegations. Absolutely not. I love that y'all talk with each other. It has just been confirmed the AUS filed her appeal, her notification of appeal. Her actual appeal is still coming. I hope we can get the docs. Yeah, we're going to get these other motions, but I hope we can get the appeal docs. Thank you, Laura. You work so hard to get the truth out there. I'm really, really trying. I know some people are mental fatigue right now. They want to move on. Maybe us getting these documents is salting an open wound still. Maybe the getting these documents are like, we're done, we're over, let's move forward. But, you know, Elaine went on this big media tour about stuff that was not allowed in. We want to see what those are, and we will now. So frustrating, the jury. Yes, I know. And you know what's really frustrating is when I saw those statements presented inside the Daily Mail articles, the entire article was redacted. And her lawyer made statements, but because her lawyer was Kaplan at the time, I guess they didn't have to, they were able to redact them, because a lot of Adams' comments were replying to not just what happened in the hearing, but also replying to her lawyer's comments. So yeah, I'm bummed about that. It was just a little too detailed, I guess, for the evidence that was presented. I hope all her speeches and interviews before her op-ed was published to show proof that she was referring to Johnny. Yeah. Yeah. After TMZ misreported that she had actually made her donations in April 2018, suddenly she got all these slew of speaking engagements, and she got paid for them. If the op-ed wasn't about him, though, she said it was. She did in the testimony. Who else would have abused her? And again, they're right, because as much as Rottenborn in his opening wanted to say the op-ed wasn't about Johnny, she clearly testified that it was. And that, you can't unring that bell. The appeal will know about that. Makes no sense. They keep saying it didn't mention his name, but she repeatedly on the stand said it was about him. The problem with Twitter, aside from being toxic, is threads get split up, so you can't always find all that easily. Yes, that's true. And the best thing I find is you go to Google or whatever you're using, advanced Twitter search. And if you can kind of remember a word or two of a tweet you're looking for and who sent it, it's really easy to find past stuff. For me, I've had a lot of people ask me, for example, anything relating to the court cases, I try to start with update, the word update, and you can search update keyword and then my account, and you'll get all those. Yeah, the mental status. We're going back a little bit. She claimed PTSD. Andrea Burkhardt has them, and we'll go over them on her site. Actually, there's a pool of us together that organize this. Andrea made the PayPal account. So yeah, we're going to get the documents, and I'll be going over them in our own ways on our own channels. And I think it's going to be interesting because obviously Andrea is going to dig deep into the legal side, and I'm going to dig deep more into the story side of what we know and the testimony. So I think we're going to have, and same with Popcorn Planet and Tug. But I think Andrea wants to share the documents with other people too. It's very kind of Andrea to donate. I mean, she had all this extra money, and it happened so fast, there was no way she could have paid people back, so she donated. And I think that was the best choice in the moment. Thank you very much. I appreciate trying to bring the real stuff. There had to be documents filed in this case because they can just bring up stuff in the appeals. So JD set it up about Adam Waldman's statement already. Yeah, he set it up in the I think what you mean is in the verdict, he listed his list of objections. So he did set it up. But he hasn't filed notice yet, or if he's going to. Especially they seal info that could reveal that she did set up things like Waldman mentioned. The judge was pretty strict about what was allowed to be sealed based on the protective order. Otherwise, it got redacted. Funny, Braderhoff wanted addresses redacted when she released so many people's details before the trial. Holy cow. They were released on every subpoena. She released them on Johnny Depp. Here, list every name that you think is going to help you in this case. We want their contact information. And then she comes back with an updated chart saying, you didn't give us everybody's contact information. But oh, by the way, we didn't redact anything on this page. Ooh. Got blocked by Eve Barlow, and I'm just a regular YouTuber and Twitter person. Yeah. Let's see what else I got. I'm curious to see the bogus argument that was denied at least, just to see the desperation. Also, her motion to reject Dr. Curry. True. That is going to be interesting. For sure. I'm going to pull something up real quick while I'm still asking looking at questions. Thank you so much, Jean Woodhouse. You are going to be so busy. I know, right? We're going to be swamped. But 6,000 documents. 6,000 pages. 6,000 pages. I'm going to show you. I'm being fully transparent here. This is all you guys who donated. My career has depended upon working with mainstream media, but I'm having huge moral issues after seeing how they still are defending her. Facts be damned, what happened to balanced reporting? Good question. What happened? I watched that movie again purposely with Sally Field. What's it called? Actual Malice, where she was supposed to get, double check her sources, get at least 2 sources, things like that. Oh, I'm actually relieved that I'm not working now. Thankfully, most of the editors and reporters I work with are decent people, but I go back to work and I have serious issues up front. Amber and team have lost so much credibility. Let them try to sway the narrative. It's annoying and the enablers are concerning, but we watched the trial. That's all you can do. We watched the trial. They're literally trying to report it, relitigate it. It's insane. We are just in a phase of small group being offended by everything. Unfortunately, those small groups are loud and obnoxious. We are just in phase. Some people say, I remember when they were arguing, who's brought this up? God, I used to have that tweet. When they say a group of people are enraged, it's this guy, his mother and a brother, and he's living in his mom's basement, 3 people. Because we are enraged. This group. Who is these groups? I missed Felicity's good point. Why did they never have access to Amber's mobile phone messages and stuff? I can't wait to see these motions because we got such mixed information, and we're coming back to that with Neumeister. He's on the list of what did she actually turn over or not. I think it's going to be really interesting. Really interesting. Yes, Black Belt Barrister still got this petition out to sign it. I think this is for the appeal for the UK. I'll try to remember to put that in my notes too. So many petitions that kind of wears people out too if we have too many. We have another one, petition for the Australian government to charge her. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying it gets confusing for people when we have too many. Woo, that's a job. I'm working on setting up all the exhibits in a chronology. And let me tell you, there's a reason Rottenborn jumped around the text. They point a clear picture when laid out an order. 100% because I was sitting in that courtroom and I'm so in tune to all this was happening because a lot of it came out in the UK. And I was like, he is conflating different conversations together in different orders and different people, like even suggesting the text that he was actually sending Vanessa, he was sending to somebody else about Amber, and it absolutely was not true. So that's a huge undertaking, but that is something that would be really interesting, I think. It's really interesting. He has a perfect last name for a lawyer, doesn't he? Whoops, I jumped ahead. I'm not sure who it is. Rottenborn, I bet you're talking about. Deadline to file notice of an appeal, I think, is Monday because it falls on Sunday. I don't know the rules in Virginia, whether they go to the next business day or the last business day before. I don't know which direction they go, honestly. Silver lining, I think her 2 million side slice is going to put a big hole in any and everything was unfair to me appeal cry. Yeah, I mean, if Johnny pays up and she doesn't, but I don't want it to look like he admits his guilt either. He shouldn't have to appeal. He won. He won without a doubt. Even when Elaine went off on Isaac and asked if JD said that about age, and his priceless response, like to her face. Yeah, she calls me that word too. I hear it. It's not that big a deal in a lot of European countries. My response to H stands that are attacking Johnny is Amber stated on national primetime television that she still loves him and that she holds no ill will towards him. Is H lying? Are you going against her? I mean, this is a man that did unspeakable things to her. Unspeakable things, testimony she gave, but she holds no ill will to him. This is not resonating or should not be resonating to a lot of victims with the kind of abuse she described. Verdict was from evidence presented to jury. If there was sealed evidence that would have lost her the one win and may be presented at appeal. What these are pretrial litigation that was never meant for the jury. The jury doesn't see any of this unless they happen to find the Fairfax site. So what this is things that would be highly is protected from personal information, but could have been prejudicial for the jury to see. So that's why they kept it out. I will find this. Let's see what else. A couple more questions and I'll get back on the paper. I don't think Johnny wants anything to do with her. There's just so many more enjoyable ways for him to make $10 million. Absolutely. I think he just wants to move on. He said in the closing statements via Ben Chew that it's not about money. It's about me clearing my name. It's about me clearing my name. I'm finding this Instagram post while I'm asking questions. Keep going, keep going. Yay, thank you. Wanted to say thank you so much for everything you do. Funny how publicly Amber Heard, we need to see all this evidence. Privately, she tries to hide it. Yeah, especially when they go on TV whining. We had so much more that could have come in to help us, and they wouldn't let us come in. They denied us. That's what we want to see. We want to see what they denied that you think should have been in there. But she's not complaining about the many hundreds, and let me tell you, many hundreds of pages. I'm going to show you, not all the pages, I'm going to show you the count of, yeah, what Donnie didn't get in. I'm getting there, May 18th. Any more questions before I go on? Well, I wouldn't touch Amber as a client. The only small PR hope she had was to shut up and vanish for a few years after the trial. Yeah, even lawyers who lose on big PR cases make names for themselves. They do. September. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm looking for her original tweet. You've all seen the tweet that they brought. There it is. Yay. All right, I'm going back to the screen and then go back. Anyway, this is the original tweet that Amber Heard sent out that the whole world saw before Washington Post updated it. And they updated the picture. And I don't think I can zoom in any more on this. Can I? Nope. It's flippy floppy with the picture. $43,000 people liked it. There was 45,000. See if we can get the picture back up. It's the exact same. Today I published the op-ed in Washington Post about women who are channeling their rage about violence and inequality into political strength, despite the price of coming forward from college campuses to Congress. Things have to change. She put down here, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. And this was the original picture. Me too. Now, what was happening at this time that so infuriated me was Johnny Depp was suing The Sun. In November, he had been notified that Amber Heard was refusing to testify because he would not release her from the confidentiality clause. He said he would. Right after that, she writes this op-ed with this title. There's the picture, whether she's claiming she didn't do the title or not. It's there. And we all took away like, oh my God, Amber's going to meet Johnny at the UK trial. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. It's still there. It's immortalized. It's screenshot. And the date is December 19th. So this is before WAPO changed the picture on their live link on Twitter. The live link updates to the picture of her. There it is. There it is. Okay, catching up to where we left off. Okay, defendant's opposition to plaintiff's motion to compel further forensic imaging and production of tests. So this is Amber Heard opposing this, of getting all of her forensic imaging, 9/12. So this we all want to know. We want to know what happened here, that she was claiming that she couldn't turn stuff over. Exhibit 1 to the Memorandum of Law in support of plaintiff's motion for summary judgment. Read defendant's counterclaim. This was filed just in February. So this is Exhibit 1 that was sealed, and he filed the summary judgment to dismiss her counterclaim. So there's something there that we didn't get to see. Plaintiff's motion to compel compliance with order, forensic imaging and production. When was this dated? February 18th, 2022. Now remember, she was supposed to do it by November. So Johnny filed, we know he did, February 18th. He filed and he included Neumeister's, look, motion to compel. We never actually saw it. This would be the first one. My internet just dropped on me. Anyway, this was the hearing motion to compel, and that's what it was about. So the judge knew, the judge must have said, look, I'm giving you a little bit more time. And then we know that Johnny filed motion to compel with sanctions because they still hadn't provided the correct stuff. So that was this for February 18th. Defendant's memorandum in support of motion to compel responses 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 3, 4, 5th, interrogatories, 19th, and 20th request for productions filed as late as February 25th, 22. 20 requests for production right up until the trial date, February 25th. Defendant's motion to compel. So there must have been a memorandum that's not included. Yeah, they're just a lot of numbers. They're not going to mean a lot to us, but they would be in that memorandum, which is not included. Defendant's motion for sanctions precipice. That's a calendar date. Defendant's opposition to plaintiff's motion for sanctions and cross motion for sanctions. We were really curious about this because all we saw was an order from the judge saying sanctions, Amber Heard wants sanctions, denied. Johnny Depp wants sanctions, denied. So I'd be curious what they're being sanctioned for here. But that was never uploaded. Defendant's opposition to plaintiff's motion for sanctions. We got that. Plaintiff's motions for sanctions. Defendant's opposition to plaintiff's motion for summary judgment. Read the counterclaim. I don't know why this has been sealed. I'm curious. Her counterclaim was those comments that Adam made. So what could be sealed? This was important. Defendant's motions in limine 1 through 27. This is everything that defendants did not want Johnny to be able to bring. And the memorandum in support of these. They filed various different limines, including against his witnesses. Plaintiff's list of exhibits. Well, we understand why that was sealed because that had notifications of the IME reports. And how do we know that? Because when Elaine Bradehoff filed her opposition to this, she included the list. So we got to see it all. So it's not really was ever unsealed, except there may have been some parts that were redacted. Plaintiff's motions in limine 1 through 23. These are the things that they did not want Amber Heard to be able to use. One of them was, for example, Jody Gottlieb, who never showed up for her deposition. That was in limine. Things that, like her sister Whitney not showing up for or staying for the full deposition, that was in limine. So those are the kind of things we want to know what happened. And we're going to see what was decided, because maybe it was decided only parts of Whitney, only certain things Whitney could be answered for, or maybe she did sit for another deposition. Defendant's memorandum in support of her motions. We got that already. Plaintiff's designation, identification of opposing expert witnesses. So the opposing expert witnesses, once they got Amber's list, we know she had some psychiatrists. Johnny was like, hey, I'm bringing opposing witnesses. And we knew he had one ready to go. It was a medical doctor who was going to testify, I presume, that those bruises were not real. But she never called her medical doctor, so they could not bring that one opposition expert, although there might have been more. Plaintiff's opposition to defendants of motion in limine. That's going to be really interesting about why things should or shouldn't go in. Designation of expert witnesses, including Exhibit 2, on March 28th. That was pretty recent. Yeah, I don't have anything going on there. So I wonder what expert he was trying to bring in that late. That's going to be interesting. Defendant's opposition of all those liminees. Defendant's motion for reconsidering regarding motions in limine. So apparently the judge ruled, and let's say it was her therapist notes, and Elaine came back and said, no, I want you to reconsider this ruling because I think you're wrong. And we're so surprised that Elaine thought she was wrong. Plaintiff's objections and counter designations of defendant's deposition designations for trial. We saw some of those. March 28th, we saw some of these, and it was overwhelming for me. Here. Defendant's objections and rebuttal designations, serve rebuttal, supplemental deposition designations. I'll give you an idea of what one of them looks like. It's codes. It's like on this page, we want these lines taken out. So I don't know whether we're going to see what those lines were since we never got to see, but they're not giving us a transcript. So I'm not sure we're really going to know. Halfway through, more than halfway through. Plaintiff's memorandum in support of motion to question defendant on prior acts of violence. Well, obviously, that was Johnny saying, look, we have a right to ask her about her girlfriend that she beat up. We know that was denied. More rebuttals. Defendant's motion to seal records relating to jurors' identities. Well, that's obvious. We know that she wanted it sealed for 1 year. And when did she do that? May 16th. That's an important date because it was after the break they took. And that's when they realized they had already admitted now, knowing that juror 15 was not the right person. And suddenly they're like, I think after their bad testimony, they're like, okay, we're losing. What we got in our back pocket here? Oh, we have a jury. Well, let's seal them so that nobody can get, so we can lie in our motions and the public doesn't know who this juror is. And we can make up stuff like he filled out his questionnaire wrong. Plaintiff's opposition, defendant's motion to exclude testimony of Brian Newmeister. That's going to be interesting. The bench memorandum in support of admissions of statements for purpose of medical treatment. Let me back up. Brian Newmeister was Johnny's IT expert, and he was the one who was going through all of her cloud stuff and her devices, and everything was a mess. It was just an absolute mess. Bench memorandum in support of admissions of statements for purpose of medical treatment. That's July 7th. That's way after the trial. What was happening July 7th? Anything else filed back then? The defendant's supplemental memorandum. So that's interesting to have something filed so late. Purposes of medical treatment. Defendant's motion to exclude testimony of Brian Newmeister. Okay, so these are the things that are going to remain sealed. Let's go take some questions real quick. Yeah, I do have some good stuff for you. Johnny wasn't on the plane with the dog. Yes, he was actually. He was on the plane, but as far as he understood, all the paperwork was done. He didn't do anything wrong. The evidence shows that she knew the dog shouldn't come in, and that's what the issue is. But my understanding is, yes, Johnny was definitely on the plane. I worked for Court Reporting Service. They do not own the copyright. It is property of the court. That's what Andrea is arguing. But Virginia's taken the position it belongs to the court reporter. Thank you. I'm so glad I caught that question. No, because she's the one who signed the paper stating they didn't have any animals. That's right. It was her signature on it, not Johnny's. Oh my God. He was on the plane. Yep. Court TV just announced her filing of the appeal. Cool. Amber had Franco in the penthouse at 11 p.m. on May 22nd. By 2:30 a.m. on May 23rd, Amber is texting Depp, desperate to call him. Oh, my God. Yeah. They're going to be battling this for years, sadly. Per Christopher Melcher, JD was indeed on the plane. Yeah, we know that. I am not sponsored by Diet Coke. I just do not have a Mega Pint with me right now. Normally it's tea time with Laura. But when all this stuff starts breaking at the last minute before I have to get on to do a live stream, I'm like, oh, I don't necessarily eat. I really don't get how texts to friends about a partner can be abuse or indicate abuse. Also, weren't some of them broken up? Yes, they were. And I'm still thinking they were so highly prejudicial to the jury. I don't know why some of them came in. I mean, she never knew about them. How can it be abusive if she never even knew about them? That's my opinion. Barnaby will try to include JD, but at the moment, Amber is the one who filed the card, commit perjury. Yeah, and I'm not sure Barnaby Joyce is actually in a position to do anything. Lauren Lumber said it would be Monday. Thank you for that update. God, I love my viewers. Monday. So Johnny has till Monday to file his, because he would know. He's Fairfax. So if it falls on the weekend, he knows which way the courts are going to push the docket, which way it's going to go to the deadline. I'll be back. They'll be right back. JD was in the plane. Yeah, confirm that. Do you know Eve Barlow was a massive Kate Moss fan? She was a massive Johnny Depp fan. They have tweets, screenshots of that too. And now she's obsessed with Heard. What do they have in common? Johnny Depp. She behaved like the trial took place outside the courtroom. It didn't. The jury made the decision. Just because she lies and breaks laws doesn't mean everyone does. Yeah. This whole nonsense about, I was going to do this on my weekly roundup. This whole nonsense about social media playing a big part in the trial is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I'm telling you, if the jury saw anything, they would have Googled the UK court and they would have saw Johnny lost, and they still came in for him. Eve Barlow went to a Marilyn Manson gig in 2018. I think she's a crazy stalker. Yeah, I'm starting to think that. And I'm also thinking she's been yeeted by Amber. She alleged so many acts of violence, she seems to want to continue to hurt him. Yeah, she committed. She didn't just allege. She committed these acts of violence on Johnny, and she just wants to keep controlling him. My personal fave argument is she tried to blackmail him and only filed abuse after he declined to give her penthouses. 3 penthouses, one for herself to live in. I get that in a divorce. One that she used as a closet and a paint studio, right? Maybe. But one for her friends to live in? Who does that in a divorce? Yeah, that was blackmail. Brenda said Johnny was already filming in Australia. That would have been what? Maybe. No, he was on the plane. If we're going back to the plane, he was definitely on the plane. By the way, before I run, I just wanted to say thank you for all the mods on here. Y'all rock. Some of these channels I live with have mods that make me not want to participate in their live streams. Oh, I'm so glad that everyone's happy. And I haven't seen any crazy comments at all. Talking about Johnny's language here. In Scotland, the C word is a term of endearment and used in everyday language. Loved Isaac's response to that trial. I remember the days the biatch word was the most horrible thing you could say to a woman. And now as she's calling her girlfriends to go to lunch, she's like, come on, you biatches, let's go. And I'm using it in that term, but you know what I mean? It's any of those words are colloquial to where you're from and what you personally depict them to be. And see you next Tuesday is worse to some people maybe 10 years ago than it is even here in America, although people want to make it worse than it is. Help me understand how she acts scared in court that time they were going to exit and almost crossed his path, yet has love for him. Good point. Good point. And if you watch that video closely, Johnny had his eyes to the ground when he was walking. He forgot about her. He was just doing his normal. You get up, you go out the side door. He completely forgot she was there because he never looked at her. And all of a sudden he was like, oh, and he walked away and he got to chill up the spine is what I saw. People say he laughed. I'm like, no, he was like, ooh. And that's what I saw because I was in court. I think I was in court that day. I missed a day or two of her testimony because of the 1 week break. Oh yeah, Amber was blowing up his phone all day on the 24th. That sends him the calculated, hey, I had to do this divorce thing. Oh God, I love that Jackson Bryan put out the video that she messed up telling them when we all saw this. She messed up saying that she needed to tell Johnny before he found out from TMZ because they had already been notified. I can't wait. Hope you all have a blessed one. Thank you so much. Saltstorm 007. I'm not sure how far down I am in comments. He didn't sign anything, told anybody to lie for him, ended the story with him. Eventually, he could only be a testimony. Yeah. Yeah, Kevin Murphy has all the emails of her going back and forth, and it's always her and Marty Singer trying to get them to grease the vet. I am a PR person, not an attorney. I could see why an attorney would have taken her on. I could even see why a bottom feeder PR would. I wouldn't ruin my rep on that liar. Yeah. Thank you. Amber got up on the stand and said the bruising after that kind of thing isn't as bad as you think. After this supposed bottle issue, she flew back to LA, went out to dinner with everybody and had a great time after. Lori, sorry to hear what you went through. I missed it. I'm sorry, Lori. I'm sorry for anyone who has to go through any of this stuff. It really doesn't make sense. She claims to feel what she does and to love him after what he supposedly did. It's nonsensical to me. I understand all victims, survivors deal with things differently, especially in the very instance. Maybe people need to file things back and forget they didn't happen just so they can cope. But what she was saying that she just testified to, insists on national TV that she still loves him, that doesn't make sense at all. The updated picture to make it sure that it was all that she is an ally to the movement rather than an outspoken survivor. Yeah, and the Me Too movement never really embraced her because Me Too was about sexual abuse, harassment in the workplace. They've made many statements that they do not include domestic violence in their campaigns. H thought the court case was going to be end differently. Oh, do you think? She wore her victory dress. She's a narcissist now, is a revisionist history for that team. Her fame falls daily and the likability of her general everything. I would hope so. Man, this narrative, and mainstream media is really pushing this narrative of Johnny needs to lay down and take it for the team and let all people believe women no matter what, because they've been harmed for so long. Hi, Daniel. Thank you so much for all I do. Thank you. I'm just so happy I can make a difference and help. The standard of evidence changed from beyond reasonable doubt to more likely and believe women automatically. What else came out with this Title IX was that my understanding is, and goes back against females, accusing another college student, male, that he's to be presumed guilty, that they don't want to put this woman through the harm of having to testify. I don't understand how that, and the ACL was the one that was pushing that. Picture of AH holding a note saying I would return and some such while showing a supposed split lip. Look at that expression on her face, smug. That woman is unhinged. Who just did this? It was amazing, brilliant. Nate the lawyer just did something where he showed that she flip-flopped on the dates back and forth, and she tried to fix her testimony by bringing in this picture and then got TMZ to print it, and that's when they found out the date was from like 2011. It wasn't even fitting her narrative. So Nate the lawyer did a great he had a live stream, and what he did is he edited it down, and he talks about that photo, and it was about the documentary. It's his edited video of the documentary. Okay, guys, I'm going to go back to this document and finish it up, and then I have something else to show you real quick. So share screen, back to. I do not know what's happening. Got shared too many screens. That was interesting. There we are. All right, so we've gone over this. Now we're back to further. This is not going to be unsealed, and that makes sense. Things with somebody's home address. The expert witness that contains their home address, their office must be their home, work from home. The personal contact information on this IME report. This sensitive personal medical information against Amber Heard. It's not going to be released. There's exhibits 3 to 5. That's her opposition to the motion to compel. We're not going to get to see those exhibits. Exhibits 1 to 6. Defendant's memorandum in support of motion to compel an IME of plaintiff for containing sensitive personal medical information. Thank you. I'm glad that's not going to be released. That would be Johnny's containing plaintiff's sensitive personal. Containing a home address. I'm just going to skip to the issues. Personal identification, contact information. This is for personal medical information. This is exhibits for defendant's opposition to plaintiff's motion to compel. So this is Amber Heard saying, I'm not showing everything here. We're not going to release all these exhibits because they're going to show some medical stuff. So there must have been maybe some emails or something back and forth with her doctor. Cross-examination, again, containing personal medical information. Defendant's opposition for plaintiff's motion. So that's not going to be released. Summary judgment is going to containing personal contact information. Confidential settlement discussion. We found this interesting. Something I found out is insurance companies can initiate settlement talks without the party's permission, without Amber Heard's permission. There obviously was some kind of settlement talks. We saw Johnny at his lawyer's office for 7 hours. We've seen the talk in the insurance claims, and we saw the transcript with the judges telling the insurance agent, the lawyers for the insurance agents, tell your guys to settle this. From your mouth to God's ears. Settlement discussion. We're not going to see it. Personal identification, identifying information. Privilege log with personal identifying information. Again, more settlement discussion. We're not going to see contact information. We're not going to see contact information. Dr. Curry's personal evaluation. Obviously, we're not going to see that big document that they wouldn't even let her see during her testimony. We're not going to get to see it. Personal information, identifying contact information, containing juror information. Well, of course, this is July 8th. This was Elaine filing her memorandum in support of that juror 15th. So apparently there was additional discovered facts. We're not going to see. All jury information is going to stay sealed. So we're not going to see any of that. All right, so that's that document. So let me just show you what the court sent to me very quickly. Might have to go a little bit smaller. So I'm not sure why she forgot this first one, but just to give you an idea, this is everything I just went over with you. There's going to be 114 pages for this medical examination that Johnny filed. This is just one page that was redacted. Another, it's 5 pages, 1 page is 25 pages for the defendant's opposition to the motion to adjudicate facts. To the bar. So this is going to be from the UK. Sorry, get that comment on too long. 132 pages for the motion, plaintiff's opposition to defendant's motion to compel his IME. 134 pages, the omnibus motion here. Just to give you an idea what we're talking about, 157 pages for defendant's opposition, 100 pages for the defendant's emergency motion for the protective order for all the individuals being deposed, probably their names, locations, and times, and things like that. 257 pages for defendant's memorandum supporting motion to compel plaintiff's devices, didn't get them. 289 pages, defendant's motion to support a motion to compel responses to all these things. 8 pages, that's boring. The devices. Plaintiff's opposition to defendant's motion to compel production of plaintiff's original devices, 129. 112. Now imagine, I'm going to sit here and do videos for these guys. We're going to have to figure out how best to present it, because you're not going to want to sit through all these pages. Defendant's memorandum in support of motion to compel responses, 439 pages. So I'm jumping down to the big ones. All right, are you ready? The most important one for me, defendant's memorandum in support of her motions in limine, 995 pages. Now, granted, there's going to be a ton of them. We're going to have to break it down over a bunch of videos, but that's the most important to me. I want to know what they wanted to keep out on both sides. Plaintiff's motions in limine, 424 pages. Defendant's opposition to plaintiff's motions, 965. Plaintiff's objections and counter designations for defendant's deposition, 965. We're talking lots of pages, people. 6,600 pages plus the first one that she left blank. It's a lot of pages, people. It's a lot of pages. So that's it for the unsealed. So we've covered that she is filing for notice of appeal. I've given you an overview of the documents we're going to be getting. I'm going to have to figure out how to best present them to you, because nobody's going to want to sit through 995 pages. Woo! Yes, I do. It's linked in the chat. Thank you. It's also in my YouTube community, which says About Me. There's videos, community, playlist, and there'll be an About Me. It's in there. Thank you, Moosier. I'm not going to say that right. Simple thank you. We appreciate you. And we're hoping you enjoy your grandbaby. Yeah, I've got my new grandbaby. September 1st, I think I start babysitting both of them. She goes back to work. That's my Instagram. My Instagram account is sort of like a timeline of where Johnny is and what's going on in his world. It's not so much personal for me. I don't get into too much of the Twitter stuff. It's just really, if you think about it, it's a bulletin board timeline for me. Each defied a court order by not submitting the devices. I am dying to see what that, because she didn't get sanctioned. So I'm dying to see what they agreed to. And we saw that the metadata was removed and that Amber made a big damn deal about it. Amber, these two floor pictures are identical. What actually incident are they to? I don't know. This is what she said, snarky. I don't know if you removed the metadata you covered up. I'll know what date. She was, Camille's like, well, you were there. Why don't you know? All links I've dropped can be seen on the About page. You're right. My YouTube's there. I made a TikTok. I just haven't used it. Law and Lumber posted an appeal timeline. Yeah, in the 2A section. I think that's what I also posted here. We went over earlier. I'm pretty sure that's the same diagram. I wanted to see the motion regarding the sanctions against her metadata or whatever they agreed to. I for sure do. Please post it. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Post the Brooks docs. Yes. Tell you what I'm going to do. Promise I'll do this. I'm going to go back to the videos and I'm going to post the docs that I used in that video in the description. All right. I will try and get that done this weekend. Give me a few days, guys. But I will go back to all of the videos I did, Brooks v. Depp, in the playlist, and any documents I brought up, I will link to in there. Thank you for reminding me. The case is, over with. One thing I keep wondering is, when did AH hand over the phone email? There is no way she didn't send rude messages. I know. It's like, where are all her text messages? They pulled every one of Johnny's, and we're gonna think that she didn't say one negative thing against him or his family or anybody else, especially like his mother or his sister. I'm not buying that. None of those files submitted should have been allowed as evidence in court. Shocking proceedings. I missed what that was too. But I'm assuming it's the text that I was talking about too. Oh, how are we doing? Guys, she already said in the UK she deleted a lot from her devices, such as conversations, and then she later said she lost her phone, and the only thing you can see are the backups. Yeah, when she went for her birthday, didn't she say she lost her phone and she had to get a burner phone or a quick phone to take with her to go to Coachella? Oh, guys, another date that was brought up to me now that we're looking at this Australia thing. So her birthday weekend was April 21st, right? 2016. The week before that, they were in Australia for her hearing and stuff, and then flew back for her birthday. And then Johnny had to have his manager's meeting, his financial meeting. God, he must have been exhausted with time travel like that, jet lag. Oh, 35 years I was shaken to my core. Victims around the world realized who the abuser was. I missed this. I'm so sorry. Amber's divorce depot is getting slowly released by Incredibly Average. Yeah, so it must be out there somewhere. I think journalists do not release, they reveal their sources. How's that? That's what I'm going to say. JD handed over his. That's how the defense got those texts. H would never have known about them had Rottenborg not read them. Actually, what Johnny's old defense did was, in supplying discovery to the Sun, they accidentally released 70,000 documents that they shouldn't have, and that's where these texts came from. And Johnny fired that company in the UK. It happened to be Brown and Rudnick, but it was their UK office, and they ended up with shillings. But that's how they got the text. They never should have been released because they weren't to Amber. Although one of these subpoenas says every text that you have sent to anybody about Amber, they felt the scope was too big. They were arguing it, but somehow those texts accidentally got released to NGN. How's that? Laughing. It's so funny how people are taking the time to approach me about my injury. My fake bruises, toots. Sorry. I didn't get the entire conversation. If the end of the appeal time falls on a non-working day, then the deadline shifts to the next working day, i.e. Monday. Emily Baker explained this. Awesome. I love this community that we have. Talking from US case, all the major players would have video depots, that there would be a lot of interesting info. And there was an H's face clutching depot. Yeah, let's go take a look at that real quick. This is what we're not going to get. Not going to get, which is a bummer. Yeah, we're not going to get all these. All these hearing transcripts, some of which are being filed under seal. And all these depositions that we're not going to get. None of the transcripts. We're not going to get those either. Yeah, we won't be getting any of those. So let me just go back to what was happening today. Eve's been particularly vile and vicious, and her and Michelle Dauber are going out and attacking everybody, attacking Johnny's looks. And Gellert Depp, not a whole grid post. I just want, she's going to show us, but oh, I probably shouldn't do that. So Evan Rachel Wood has gotten tired of people saying that she and Amber Heard were friends. Oh, look, a photo from 2015 that keeps circulating, trying to prove something, when in actuality, this photo was taken at an event honoring my stylist who also styled Johnny Depp, Samantha McMillan. I arrived alone and was seated at this table with certain logic. Everyone who has seen it, everybody who was seen in a photo with Weinstein would have to be a rapist. So what they're saying, what she's saying is, first of all, I'm not friends with Amber Heard. Just because I'm sitting with her, an abuser, doesn't make me an abuser. Just like anybody who was in a photo with Weinstein would not make them a rapist. That's how I'm reading what she's saying here. I'm not the only one who read it that way. She goes on to say, and with certain logic, I guess all these people must support abusers too, right? Of course not. The only abuser in this picture is Amber. So she's saying all these people support an abuser. Because, of course, I'm not getting in the middle of this trial yet, this case yet. It's separate from Johnny's. It's something I need to research. But basically, she's just acknowledging that Amber Heard's an abuser. Now that we cleared that up, please stop sending me death threats. She goes on to say even more. Dear press, I know you were just chomping at the bit to say I support one over the other, but if you actually did your research, you would find that 6 years ago, I said I would not comment on the abuse allegations, and I still have not. It's been liked by Samantha. If you're worried about my feed being flooded with harassment and coordinated victim intimidation, which is illegal, then I would steer clear of headlines that put me in more danger and subject me to more abuse. Obviously, she's got her own case against Marilyn Manson. And actually, I think I got it backwards. Marilyn Manson has a case against her. To clarify, I'm against the exploitation of her bisexuality in the media. I cannot comment on the abuse allegations. That's what she said. She never said they were friends, ever. And then what happened was that Eve got ticked off on this. Let's see if I can get any of her. I have to go find that for you. And then Eve went bonkers. Bonkers, bonkers. Let me get those. She started complaining it all. I mean, she was going on and on and on. Let me get it. Not giving away too much personal stuff here. Michelle Dauber got into it. She was upset. I want to see what. This is what Eve had to say. Evan Rachel Wood, whatever you say about your IG stories being taken out of context, it looks like you're calling Amber an abuser. Oh, well. And you're comparing her to Weinstein? No, not exactly. She was saying that if you're in a photo with an abuser, it doesn't make you an abuser. Just like if you're in a photo with Weinstein, it doesn't make you a rapist. All the best with your case. I'm sure you're terrified, but this is not it. So, yeah, she was kind of losing her crap today. Losing her crap. I think that's all I've got to present to you today. I hope it helped. I've got some more comments I'll get through, but my next video, I was going to try and do a weekly roundup. But a lot of it I already have covered with her appeal, but we'll see. The main thing I'm really bothered by is this Boozy's report about bots. Then we're not bots, we're new accounts that has smeared her. And then that there's another report that says she's the one with the bots. So let's see what we got. You're welcome. I'm coming up to an hour and 40 minutes. So I'll take the last few questions, and I think we've got it. I just can't understand why nobody ever gets charged with perjury. It's so frustrating. This is my understanding with perjury. I'm not a lawyer. Remember, but this is what I found from my research. When someone lies, commits perjury, it takes a lot of money, expense from the court to go after that person, because now it becomes a criminal charge. It's not like Johnny has his own lawyers and Amber has her own lawyers. The court has to initiate this or to pick up a big tab of this to charge this person and try this person. So the first thing they're going to look at is, did this perjury or would this perjury have changed the outcome? Was it significant enough that the jury would have found a different way, a different, and Amber Heard, she did perjure herself, but the jury here in the United States still found against her. Amber Heard did perjure herself in the UK, but the judge found for her, and that affected Johnny. So that might be worth pursuing. But they have to say is, if we take that statement out, would that have changed the judge's mind? So that's the perjury. So it's the cost, and that's my concern with Australia. She perjured herself, there's no doubt about it, but she did enter a plea deal. She did admit her guilt. She did pay a fine. They did the PSA. They did take the dogs right back on the private plane as soon as it was found. They didn't put them through the airport or cargo. They took them back. So if they had found out this other side, that she intentionally snuck them in, would the outcome have been different? That's what Australia's going to have to decide. If they charge you with perjury, it's going to cost them a lot of money. It's going to cost them a lot of social attention, media and all that. And if they had known she had lied about the documents because the dogs were 3 days either way of their shots, she snuck them in, they didn't go into quarantine, would the outcome have been different? They still would have sent the dogs back. They still would have fined her. So that's my curiosity, if any lawyers want to pick my brain on that one, because that's what I'm hearing about, why people don't always get charged for perjury. It's very expensive for the courts, and would the outcome be significantly different? I can't believe that while Toast, I don't know her statement, is what set Eve off. Well, that white toast, yeah. Lost it. She just is like, I've got my own case to worry about. I don't want to be attached to this person who just got tried and found guilty of or liable for abuse. So leave me out of it. But they're all saying, yeah, she's the abuser, not me. But that's a whole nother case. The way I read Evan Rachel is that she's trying to defend herself for her photo with Amber. She was not saying Amber is an abuser, even supports Amber. Evan supports Amber. No, she's saying she doesn't support her. She's saying, I always said no comment. We're not friends. We just happen to be at the same event. She's specifically saying, I don't want to be associated with this person in this photo who is an abuser. That doesn't make me an abuser. That's my takeaway on it. She's trying to save face because her situation is worse as her and Ilma Gore obtained and distributed CP. I don't know what CP refers to. I know they had some kind of a false FBI letter, apparently, allegedly. Michelle Dauber is attempting to label JD as a pervert. I saw those pictures. When she was pulled up about it, she smugly stated that it was satire humor, but it's clear how low she's prepped to go. Yeah, she did some stupid chart. Like, these women we don't have a say in who we want to date. None of these women were kidnapped. Give me a break. He was dealing with the dog smuggling. Betty Sue was dying and his wife shitting the bed. What a nightmare. Yeah. All at the same time. She found out that she was being charged alone, not Johnny. She found out she was being charged alone for the dog smuggling on December 15th. Oops, the night before the court and show. But they had this big argument. That was part of an old interview with Amber Heard. Sorry. I think we're good. I don't think I missed any more. One more super chat. Oh my God. See? YouTube just recommended your channel, and I binged for a couple days. Your work is amazing. New subscriber here. Oh my God, 20. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoy it. I was so worried being a non-lawyer if I could present valuable information to you guys when we have so many law tubers, but I try and do it from, hey, what if you and I were on the jury? What if you and I were sitting in that court? What was your perception of what was happening versus, the legal deep dive? Oh, my brother ended his life after believing it was his only way out from his abusive partner. So this trial just makes my stomach turn knowing JD went through the same thing. Oh, I am so sorry your family has been affected by this. I'm so very sorry. Probably carry 2 phones all the time. Quite possibly. Quite possibly. Zigzag. Amber's appeal has been filed. Money due Monday afternoon. We've talked about this. She has to pay the $500 filing fee. That's definitely going to be due, or it has been paid. But she doesn't have to file the suspension bond if she's willing to deal with Johnny having to ask for his money. The suspension bond suspends the payment of the judgment. That's all it does. And then if she loses, that money goes straight to Johnny. Johan, we have what is a woman documentary because women are being phased out in a birth-in person. Men haven't been phased out like that yet. Okay, I think this is a gender discussion that I missed. So I'm not going to be able to jump into this one. Okay, anything else? It is not showing my super chats like it normally does. I don't know why it's not doing that today. I'm scrolling back. Usually I have them listed. Usually they're at the top of my screen in the corner, and none of them are being listed for some reasons. I'm finding them by accident. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, you don't have to do this. Don't send me money. You're so awesome in helping me do this. You were so awesome. Always showing up, and you help everybody else. I see you on everybody else's feeds. You're amazing. $10 super sticker. Thank you so much, very much. I'm glad I'm scrolling back because my system, this isn't me. I didn't make a mistake this time. I think I would have to reload it, and if I did, I'm afraid I'd lose you guys. Coming up to, I'm over 145, so. Oh, I don't see anymore. I don't see anymore. See as soon as I say that. Okay, I got that one, so I think I'm caught up. Thank you guys so very much. Going back to the end of the comments here. I don't see any more. I'm going to end this. I will try and work on my weekly roundup, which is going to be about this Boozy report and some other things that I'm coming up with. A little bit of her. I'll probably just re-mention her filing her notice of appeal. I appreciate everything. I so appreciate y'all showing up. I think she'd kind of be okay with paying with JD, not the actual giving of money, but the acknowledgement that comes from his side knowing she did it. Yeah, I think Johnny's just thrilled to clear his name. Age admitted guilt to her lying ways with the dogs, and her followers just overlooked that fact. Oh my God, so much. I cannot believe they're not bothered that she didn't donate, and proof that she had the money, 13 months before she even wrote the op-ed? She had the money. Proof. Now we find out that her insurance has paid all her legal fees, so that's another lie. And these people are still standing with her, not just her supporters, but the mainstream media should be saying, no, we denounce you. We denounce you. We will put our time and effort into real, if it's a female group, into real females, victims and survivors. Why, oh, why are they not denouncing this woman? I don't understand. I just don't understand. Okay, guys, I think I've got you all. I'm going to go. Looking forward to this unsealing documents and figure out how we're going to go. And I will continue my insurance deep dive next week, because I think at least next week before, it's going to be another week before we get those documents. And then I have to figure out what to do with them. So thank you all. Look for my weekly roundup that I will try and get out tomorrow. It takes YouTube sometimes is very slow in uploading, and I won't be able to film it until tomorrow morning. So thank you guys. Thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed the information I brought, and I am sincerely going to say goodbye now, and have a great day and weekend. Goodbye, everybody.